Welcome, everyone. We are live. It is Monday. It's a holiday for us here. Heritage Day, I believe it is called. Anyhow, oh, my bedroom door was open and I haven't heard a little bit all night. He's out in the hallway. I got the girls in the other room and the door's closed. And how did I know he was in the hallway? Because he's bright in the darkness. Anywho, what you are versus what you want. I have told you this, or perhaps given you this analogy before, but let us go back to it. The analogy is this: if you wanted to purchase a house, who do you call? Well, you call a realtor. Yes? That's what you would do. But let us look at the deeper layer here. What makes you want to purchase a house? The desire to purchase the house did not materialize from thin air. It materializes because of a particular mood that you are in. So you want to be a homeowner. Now, because you want to be a homeowner, there's something or somewhere that you want this house to be. Because if you go to the realtor and you tell them, well, yes, I want to buy a house, they're going to say to you, well, yes, I know you want to buy a house because you're here. But then you've got to do something. You have to describe to the realtor the type of house that you want. Do you want a bungalow? Do you want a 2-story? Do you want a walkout basement? Do you want a picket fence? You want a large yard? Say that fast. Oh. Do you want to live in the suburbs? Do you want to live in the country? Do you want to live in the city? Do you want to be downtown? You see, the reason why the realtor asks you those questions is so that they can assist you in getting or choosing the best possible option. Because then one of the things they ask you is, have you been pre-approved for a mortgage? Now remember, you're buying a house, but something made you want to buy the house. Okay? Something made you want to purchase that house. What is it that makes you want to purchase the house? What is that feeling that's driving you to purchase that house? Okay, now, after the realtor asks you what you want, where you want it, what your budget is, the realtor will go out. He'll search through his computer to match your parameters. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? Right? He's going to ask all of those questions. You answer those questions based upon how you feel? You answer the questions of the realtor based upon how you feel. And when you answer the questions, the realtor will go out and whittle down this list and will take you to view what you have told him. So, in other words, you have to mentally project from you to the realtor. You have to project that image of your house into the mind of the realtor so that you can go out and have a look in order to make a better choice. Now, when you go out and you look, you're only going to be looking at the things you told the realtor that you wanted. If you said you want a bungalow in the suburbs with a walkout basement, he's not going to take you downtown to look at a condo apartment with underground parking and no yard, because that is not what you requested. That is not the mental image that you projected from yourself into the mind of your realtor. You see, follow me now. So you go and you look at these places and you say, yes, yes, maybe. And you say, well, no, that's a hard pass. And you begin to see what was in your mind beginning to take shape on the outside. And you choose a particular property based upon the feeling that matches why you want to buy that house in the first place. Are you still with me? Okay, let's move on. So, one of those houses now is going to stand out. One of those houses, when you walk into it, it is almost as if the house speaks to you and says, oh, you want me. I meet all the criteria. Right? So what did you realize about this analogy? You are the one that has the original feeling because you're the point of origin. And that original feeling, you have to convey that feeling to the realtor. How though? By way of defining what you want. You just told a realtor, I want this house in this neighborhood for this amount of money. That's what you told the realtor. And so the realtor went out looking for the image that was most suitable, that matched what they interpreted from your projection. Now let's apply this to real life. You say you want to change. So your change requires what? It requires you defining what that change is and what it looks like. That is what your first step is. Because the change that you want to experience was brought about by a feeling. So remember, you want to buy the house, you had a feeling. There's some kind of a desire within you that says, I really want this type of house in this area with all these things. And when I see that house, it will be the representation of what I want. So whatever your issue is today is just like a house. You must clearly define what it is that you want to become. Now, something interesting happens when you say, I want to become this. Okay? Something interesting happens when you say, I want to become this. You get that feeling again. You get the corresponding feeling that matches the change. No need to write a list. Just get one thing, because remember, you saw that one house in your mind's eye. And that house represents where you want to be in life. That house represents how you feel. You look at the house, you walk in the house. You will either say, no, this is not the one, or yes, this is a perfect fit for me. Why would you say that? Because it matches how you feel. The image of the house matches how you feel. So you didn't arrive at the house out of boredom. You arrived at the house because you wanted to have a particular experience. And so the house that you purchase represents the experience you want to have. So if you say, I want to change my life from, well then, what is the image or the feeling that represents the change in your life? If you say, more money in the bank, what's the mood? What is the mood? I want more money in the bank. I gotta have more money in the bank. Or did you come up with an image because you recognized, oh, now if I had more money in the bank, how would I feel on a daily basis? Now you begin to paint a picture as to what you want to become. And you're going to go out into the world living as you normally would. And you will begin to collect different experiences. But one of them will match who you say you want to be to the image in your mind's eye. So just like the house and the neighborhood that you want to be in is a mood, the house represents the fulfilled mood. So what would you be doing if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be? Would you be living a life of contentment? Would you be peaceful? What would you be doing if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be? Well, imagine, if you will, that which you want to become. And you want to project that image from yourself into where? Well, if you look at it, you projected it from yourself into the realtor. That's how come the realtor was able to take you where you wanted to go, to look at the types of houses you said you wanted. So where are you projecting this image now of who you want to become? You're projecting it outside of yourself. Now, imagine, if you will, outside of yourself. You see, we have all these sights and sounds that we see on the outside. Now, we think that the outside is full of things. But I want you to imagine, if you will, that when you project something, you are projecting it into, I don't want to say a void or an abyss, but a womb, something that is just dark. You can't see it. But it is the mind it is the equivalent to the mind of the realtor that you are projecting who you say you want to become into. And as you project it by way of that image that was brought about by the feeling, you begin to have experiences. You begin to meet people. You begin to go places. And you say, whoa, I wanted to be more confident. I wanted to be more bold. And I said, if I were bold and confident, that I'd walk into a room and I'd be able to shake anybody's hand and look them in the eye without a problem. So you see, you are projecting outward from yourself who you say you want to become. Such is life. We project. We project who we want to become out into here's the word, ether then. It's thick and it's gooey. It's sticky. And because you have impressed the feeling by way of that image into the ether, remember Neville Goddard says creation is finished. Right? Remember, Neville Goddard said creation is finished. So you and I on a daily basis, we are constantly projecting what we are out into the ether, out into the great womb of existence. And because we cannot see that that is what we are doing, we think that the experiences we have are quote unquote random or coincidental or willy-nilly, when in actuality, they are not. They emerge from you. So if you find yourself in a pickle at the moment, you and I projected ourselves out into that situation. How? By way of the feeling. Remember the realtor. You called the realtor up and said, I want to purchase this house. But in order to tell the realtor that, you had to feel the neighborhood. You had to feel the type of house. How? It was one particular mood. You see, for those who live on acreages and in the country, there's this sense of peace and tranquility that they like. That's why they were driven to get that type of house based upon the feeling of owning that property. So It is exactly the same way. The image of the house, you projected it out from yourself into the mind of the realtor so that you said bungalow. The realtor searched and looked for what? Bungalow. You did not say bungalow and the realtor said, well, let's go look at condos. Anytime that happens and you say, well, I'm getting the opposite of what I want, remember two things. You cannot ever get the opposite. You will always get the corresponding experience that matches the mood. So the mood and the external are going to match, and they will match by way of feeling. Because when you walk into the house and you say, oh, this is the one, how do you know it's the one? Because of the way it makes you feel, it matches the feeling you projected outward. And the reason why we get caught up and confused and we say, oh my God, I got the opposite. The reason why we say that is because we do not recognize the mood that we are presently occupying. That's why we don't recognize that we are the ones projecting a particular image from in us into this great big quote unquote invisible womb that we cannot see. But if you knew that the mood you presently occupy habitually, you always go back to a particular mood. Is it a mood of agitation? Is it a mood of peace? Is it a mood of satisfaction? Is it a mood of agitation? What is the mood that you presently occupy? But you're not just presently occupying it, you are habitually occupying it. You're always in that mood more than you are in any other mood. What mood is that? Because when you recognize that mood, then you will begin to comprehend why your external experiences match. But because we do not recognize our habitual predominant mood that we are always in, when an experience arises, we don't know what it is. And we say, well, why is that happening to me? Because it matches the mood that you projected from within yourself out into the exterior world. That's why. So we always, not sometimes or most of the time, but we always project from within ourselves our mood. And our mood, let's say somebody made you angry and you're thinking about them. Now, you're probably angry. You're probably in that mood of anger because they said something that cut you, right? You're in that mood because you are remembering an experience. Do, do you see what happened there? The mood generated an image, and that image shows you, that image implies that you are upset. So what image implies that you are gainfully employed? If you had a great job, not just any old job, but the job that, you see, the mood, what is the mood? A particular job that you have is going to put you in a mood. What is that job that matches the mood? You see, sometimes we go out and we just get any job because we feel like we must. But look at the mood and then look at the job you're doing. King Bubba said, I got a job that I don't like. That's the first line of his song. I got a job that I don't like. You see how your inner mood matches the external experience? It goes the same way for if you have this particular attitude towards work in the first place. Julie Black, by the sweat of your brow, you will eat bread. That's her song. Mind you, it is scripture too, but it's her song. If that is the attitude, you see, all men must work, but not, we don't just work because, well, if we have the attitude that we must work or we live to work instead of working to live, if we have that attitude, well, then the job that you choose is going to be a reflection of that mood, the way you feel about the job. So when you want to create your ideal job, your ideal career, the way to conjure the image in your mind and to rouse the feeling, to rouse the body to act, the mood, what kind of job would you be doing? I didn't ask you if you wanted to make 6 figures. I asked you, what is that mood? What job would you like to be doing? That you will get up and you will go to it every day and you'll be excited to be there. Or you'll get up and hate having to be there. And here's the thing. I saw it unfold. My life and then my old boss's life. He absolutely hated the job. He hated it. And then he fell at work, causing him not to be able to work for a while. Do you see the correlation? Do you see the corresponding mood and experience? And some would say, but he just happened to fall off the ladder. No, he didn't just happen to fall off the ladder. It was the point of origin, the original mood that said, remember Karate Kid says, I hate it here. When Jaden Smith was Karate Kid. That was his predominant mood. Get me out of here. I can't stand it here. So then, coincidentally, he fell and had to get out of there. So you see, if you would recognize that it is your mood, that you're projecting outward all the time, you would always know what what kind of experience you're gonna have. You will know the mood of the experience because it will match what you just projected out there. As I mentioned, because we cannot see the womb or the ether, aka, because we can't see it, one, we think it doesn't exist. Two, we don't look at ourselves to see what we are projecting into the world. And because we don't see what we project out into the world, because we are unaware of what we are doing, the first thing we ask is, why is this happening to me? People ask, but Angela, are you saying that children do the same thing? Yes, we all do. Why is that? Now, teeny tiny children, they don't do it of their own volition because they are presently unaware. They're under the stewardship of their parents. So if the parent has a predominant mood of whatever that thing is, that now is projected into the ether. And the focal point is what? What is that predominant mood? But because I know some of you don't want to believe that, you don't have to believe it. It is a simple matter of observation. We don't say, you know how people say, well, Angela, that's really ignorant to say. Children don't bring these things on themselves. No, little teeny tiny children do not bring it upon themselves because they're presently unaware. They're presently unaware because they're not the ones making the decision. The adult is the one making the decision. So the child is under that umbrella of the adult. But here is the interesting thing. The child may not have, quote unquote, brought it about, but because a predominant mood has been instilled into the child, now it continues to be perpetuated. We call them generational curses. So, what you are versus what you want, those two things are always in alignment. What you are versus what you want, they're always in alignment because we project what we are into the womb of life. And that's what we get back every single time by way of an experience or by way of experiences that match the mood. The mood will always be matched. Every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. So if the mood is being matched, if your mood is, nobody ever listens to me. You see that feeling of not being heard? You feel like you're yelling into the wind and it's just blowing right back in your face. Nobody's listening to you. Nobody cares about you. This is how you feel. That mood is projected outward into the world and can only bear that fruit where you feel like you're always having to argue and debate and nobody is actually listening to you. That's the mood. But that mood did not arise on its own. The frustration of not being heard originated from somewhere. And what we as people tend to do, we want to go back and dig it up and try and find where it came from. Just remember this. It came from an original experience. It came from an experience. Just remember that part. Save yourself the trouble. Because if you keep looking back at where it came from, trying to dredge it up, trying to find it, what are you continuously projecting out into the world? The present mood. In order to change, you must get inside and form the image of what you want to become. The image of what you want to become has a mood attached to it. I gave you the analogy of the realtor. You have to tell that realtor what type of house you want, where you want it, what your budget is, what your deal breakers are. If you say to the realtor, I want something with upstairs living and downstairs living so I can rent out the basement part, he's not going to go and find you a condo. Because your mood is not the condo, your mood is the up-down residences. So that two people can pay the mortgage at the same time. That's the mood that's driving you. That's why you made that choice. So he goes out, or she goes out, the realtor, and they call you and say, hey, I've got these places that match. Let's go look. And when you go look at these places, you will walk into them. Even if you didn't buy the house, but you were looking at renting a place, when you walk into it, you make your decision how? You say, this one feels the best. Why? Because it matches the mood. Now, the realtor, what is very obvious, because it shows you something tangible right away, mood and house. But apply it to your life now. You want to make a change. Well, then you've got to define the change. And the image that defines, and it says to you, if you do this, this is the thing that shows you you've changed. The Jeffersons theme song is going through my head right now. Because it signified something. Moving on up to the east side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. I'm moving on up. The mood was what? The mood was one of, ooh, I made it. So the deluxe apartment was confirmation that they made it. It matched the mood. So the assignment, if you will, is to pay attention to your present mood at all times, even though it may seem to be tedious. Pay attention to your mood. Because if you pay attention to your mood, and your mood feels kind of, kind of questionable, well, that mood will tell you what type of experience you're going to have. Well, it has to match the mood, right? But you'll realize that there's always that one image. And when you come upon it by way of your feeling, you say, yes, that image implies that I have fulfilled my mood. Because this is how we live our lives naturally, every single day, all day. We live our lives according to the mood, and we have the experiences that match our moods. But because we do not see the instantaneous response, we think that the mood has nothing to do with the experience. So what kind of mood would you be in if you were in your ideal relationship? You cannot come with the mindset of, these hoes ain't loyal. Why are women so mean to men? Why are men so mean to women? Why does a man want a submissive woman? You cannot come to that relationship with that mental mood. The mental mood would be, what kind of man or woman would you be in your ideal relationship? There is something that you would be doing in your ideal relationship. Remember the deluxe apartment? So, what would your deluxe experience be in this relationship? You gonna be arguing all the time? Oh, well, clearly not, because who wants that? Who wants a contentious household? Nobody. You see, we don't have to get into all of the details of he's got to be tall and he's got to be. No, you already have your preferences. They are already there. You already set the parameter for what your attraction is, for what you like aesthetically. It is already there. That's not what you're looking for. That's just a detail. And the details are always going to be met. But what you're actually looking for is the mood. If you say, if I were in my ideal relationship, a typical day would look like, we'd go somewhere and, he's so dreamy. I just have to sit there and just. Sometimes I touch him and I still don't think that's real. It's so surreal, like, oh, how is it that everything is met? He's absolutely everything I was looking for. Or, maybe perhaps from the guy's perspective, yours would be, wow, what a phenomenal woman. I find that she listens to me. She's so easy to talk to. I can tell her anything. I can be vulnerable. I feel safe with her. Or she can say, I feel safe with him. Because that is the ideal relationship that you want. That's what you want to be in. So then when you're putting just like your list for your realtor, you have an image of the house. So you have to have an image of the type of relationship. So, which means you cannot allow yourself to be distracted by all of the things that, man, you know what? I can't have no big bitch. I can't have no big back bitch. What the hell? That is not what you want in a relationship. So why is your mind there? Why are you frolicking in that mood? You cannot frolic in that mood and project ideal relationship. Oh, but Angela, I find it so hard to trust. Mm-hmm. Is that your ideal relationship? Hard to trust? Or they're so easy to trust. Jason Aldean, you make it easy, loving up on you. Huh? That is the ideal relationship. You make it just so easy to be myself. That is the ideal relationship. So then that is the mood. If you were in that relationship, you would get up every day, even if you guys had a quote unquote disagreement. The image of the ideal relationship would tell you that you guys knew how to handle any disagreement. Because the ideal relationship, the image of it implies that this is beautiful. And we may have our ebbs and flows, but we have a predominant way that we deal with things. And that way, you begin to mold and shape yourself into the ideal man or woman. You cannot mold and shape somebody else. You have to mold and shape you. The realtor's not coming to you to tell you what you should buy. You have to go to the realtor already knowing. Who? It's not the realtor's tastes. It is yours. It is your mood. So what you are versus what you want. We only project that which we are out into the world. and we can only get it back. This is why that phrase, man, know thyself, exists. Because it always begins and it originates from the self. So where's your mood? Where are you putting your attention? I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this. Or are you saying and feeling, yeah, that's the best for me, I like that. But what if you say, but Angela, I keep making the same kind of choice? Well, that's the answer to your problem. If you keep making the same choice, then you are in the same mood. So you must change the mood. Or else we find ourselves exhausted, fighting between what we are and what we want. We want something without the comprehension that we have to become it. But how do I become the ideal relationship? How do I become the ideal house? By finding the mood that matches. What mood or frame of mind would you wake up in every single day if you were the man or the woman you wanted to be? But you see, we like to argue and cuss and carry on and then wonder why we keep repeating the same cycles. So how do you do it? You find the mood. It's a simple question to ask yourself. What mood would I be in if I was working at my ideal job? You'd get up every day and be excited to go. And mind you, it's not every day that you're going to be excited. Because some days, shoot, I'd rather stay in bed. Especially when it's raining. Allegedly, it's the weather for leather, but I digress. But there would be a predominant mood that you would inhabit in your ideal job. You say, ooh, I just love going. And if you say, I love going, then you're not even necessarily going to encounter a Linda or a Karen. You're not necessarily going to encounter them because they don't match the mood. Your ideal job or career does not have within it, in its expression, a jerk boss. You say, I love my job, but my boss is a jerk. Well, then that is not your ideal career. That's not the ideal that you're looking for. It's like the realtor when he shows you the houses. You choose the one that makes you feel what? The best according to the mood you presently occupy. So the job is the same. It looks like it fits, but you're like, eh. You put the shoes on or the slacks on, you turn yourself in the mirror and you say, I'm not feeling that today. I don't feel like, you see, we always say that. I don't feel. But yet, we want to stifle and suppress the feelings. You do not stifle and suppress the feeling, you examine. And you say, whoa, is that how I want to feel? Because if I feel like this, I'm in a mood today. Some people say they got up and they chose violence. That's a mood. We always live according to mood. So if we can remember to check the mood. KZ, listen, where KZ? We're going to plug it. A realtor in Virginia. You better call KZ. KZ, drop a link in the chat, baby girl. Drop a link in the chat. And if you can get onto YouTube and drop a link in there too, do it. Because you see, now she's intimately acquainted with what I'm saying. Oh Lord. Sing it, big feller. Well, good morning to you, sweetness. Just don't fall down the stairs. He's out in the hallway. Ah, who would have thunk it? That our predominant mood is what drives us. Pay attention to it. I remember Miss Deborah said she bought the kind of car she bought. Why? See, we buy the kind of car. People say, well, Angela, I want me a Lamborghini. I want this. I want me a Ferrari. Oh, mind you, I did drive by a Ferrari the other day. Listen, for as lovely as it purrs, it still does not purr as beautiful. Well, a Shelby does not purr. A Shelby growls. Oh, Shelby is beautiful. I'll take me a Shelby any day. Mm. But you see, we choose our cars. From what place? From a mood of how it makes you feel when you slide the gears. You press the clutch and you change gears. Like, oh, just the feeling, just the thrill of it. That is a mood. Do we not have memes that say, ooh, that's a mood, that's a vibe? Well, that is how we live our lives. So if you find the vibe that you like, if you find the mood that you like, remember this. One cannot sustain the mood indefinitely. And there is a flow. There's an ebb. But what we can do is go back, feels good, so that it becomes a habit, so that you always use it. So even if you fall out of that mood, you're gonna go back because it is your habit to do so. So what is your mood that is driving you? I got a phone that did not charge. Hold on, and I'm gonna come back and welcome everybody. Hey, sugar, you out here saying, you sing, wake your brother up. You wake them up. And I know he listens. You see, he just got louder. I told him, wake them up, and he hollered a little louder. Wow, little bit. Who's here with us this morning? I didn't say wake me up. I'm already awake. Twitter is as Twitter is. You know, Twitter is what it is. I think Yoda Green was there. But viewing pleasure is on YouTube with us this morning. Hey, girl. Or failer. I see you. Who's kicking it with us on Fanbase this morning? We have Moon and Dolphin Duck. Hey, DJ Swag is in the house. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Ray Ray is in the house. My sweet Virginia realtor KZ is in the house. Oh, it's Miss Deborah. Listen, even a little bit's hollering for you, girl. Miss McQueen. Miss McQueen is in the house. Ow, hey girl. I see you. So let me wrap it up because YouTube says I've been talking for 53 minutes. Yikes. My grandmother would not be pleased. She'd say, hush. But anywho, check your mood. I don't know how some of you get dressed. I get up in the morning and I say, or sometimes the night before, I say, what color do I want to wear? It's just like when you go and you pick out your underwear, and you go and you buy them, depending on where you go buy them. You pick them out based upon your favorite colors. At least I do. You pick out these things based upon how you feel. But it's not just a feeling. It is, you see, the feeling is the effect. Hello? Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. So the feeling is the effect. The mood is the cause. See, we don't always see the mood because the mood is allegedly invisible. But we get the feeling. When I get that feeling, right? He got the feeling because what he was in a what? A mood. They happen simultaneously. But really, they happen at the same time. Mood and feeling happen at the same time. There's no break in there. You don't get one and then wait for it, incoming feeling. No, you don't. It doesn't happen that way. They happen at once, at the same time. Mood and feeling appear together. They are travel companions. So today, my beautiful friends, what you are is always what you get back, because it is what you project out into the world. So in order to change the experience that you get back, the mood inside the person. Confidence is a mood. Sensuality is a mood. Is it not? You let Idris Elba walk into a room. Oh my God. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Ugh. Now you let Henry Cavill walk into a room. That's exactly what you'll hear. It's a mood. They have a particular way about them, a particular attitude, mental mood about them. And we treat them according to that mood. Because the mood generates a feeling. It is projected outward. You let Monica Bellucci walk into a room. Oh, you don't know who Monica Bellucci is? Oh, hello. She was the Merovingian's wife in Matrix 2. She was the Bond girl in, oh Lord, which one is it? It wasn't Casino Royale. It wasn't, I forget which one it is, but it was with Daniel Craig. Yeah, that's Monica Bellucci with them there lips. Hello. You let Halle Berry walk into a room. That is a mood. Did you know you could do the same thing? You want to be as confident as you think those people are? Well, you can step into that mood as well. You can step into the mood of Eartha if you'd like as well. You could step into the mood of Tina if you want to do as well. You see, moods, we change all the time. So you just find the mood, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, and you do it, until it what now? Becomes a habit to be in that mood. So that you will predominantly be in that mood, thereby experiencing the things that match that mood. So you want to be ornery and cantankerous and persnickety and bitter. Oh, don't come crying and telling me about my life, Angela. Change your mood. It is as simple as that. When you change the mood, you change who you are. And when you change who you are, that is what you bring back into your world, because it always comes back to you. As you push it out into the world, you give birth to it. You're going to have to hold that baby. Hello. Anywho, I'm done. Thank you for the love, y'all. Anywho, I am going to go clean up after these chickens. Oh no, I didn't make them any fermented food last night. Oh shoot. We'll figure it out, chicklets. We'll figure it out. But anywho, you know that I love you. Test it for yourself. What mood do you want to be in today? Choose your mood. And keep choosing it. Be faithful to that mood and say, you know what? Now here's the thing. You're not pretending to be in that mood. You're just getting into it. You're just opening the door of that mood and going inside. Or you're putting on the shoes of that mood. That's all you're doing. And you start walking in that mood, speaking in that mood, acting in that mood, rehearsing that mood, always with the knowledge that the thing rehearsed is the thing performed on the outside. You rehearse it internally, you will perform it on the outside. That is inevitable. So if you change your mood into one of, I can be a Lewis Hamilton. Listen, I drive my little Yaris like I'm Danica Patrick, okay? Don't come for me. I sure do. Oh, yes, I gear down, pop it in the gear. It's an automatic. Don't come for me. I know how to drive stick and I miss it. Something just, And I'm like, ooh, I'm Danica Patrick today. Oh, yes. Driving with skill. Just makes you feel a particular way. Right? So select your mood, knowing that the mood you select and you rehearse often is the mood you will perform in the outside world. And with that, my beautiful friends, countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2. You know I'm going to see you Monday through Friday right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Fanbase, 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to hang out with us, you can slide into my DMs and go, Angela, I did not understand one thing you said. Here's my situation. How do I possibly apply the role of the realtor in that? And I will be Blanche Devereaux for you. Well, yes, Big Daddy. Anyway, I digress. I love you guys. 1. Go forth into the world. Right? Right, Miss Deborah? Oh, I'm just reading her message in the chat. Neither the Shelby or the Ferrari purrs as good as money in the bank. My money don't jiggle, jiggle. It folds. Hello? That's the machine that counts the money. That's the sound it makes. Anyway, I love you. Kids. She's sitting on her mother's back. I'm like, doesn't matter what species of mother you are. We all had the same dilemma. These kids. Always riding you for something. And that's what she's doing. I think it's a girl. I don't know it's a girl yet. We're praying for hen. But it already is what it is. We just don't know because they don't have any major visible signs to tell you it's a rooster or a hen just yet. But that's her.